New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Why, hello, it's Bonnie Gonzalez. Yes, me, your doula for grief. And again, I am Bonnie Gonzalez. I am a grief coach, a registered nurse, a religious science practitioner, and a soul collage facilitator. All of that rolled into one. So hello and welcome. I hope I didn't startle you too much with my headdress. If you were looking for your doula for grief, you have found her right here. Today, I thought we would still discuss grief, but more with a festive and celebratory tone. I am here in Jalisco, Mexico. As a matter of fact, I'm in Guadalajara. And as you know, Dia de los Muertos is right around the corner, which is tomorrow. So I thought we should honor that, or even more than honoring it, let's find out more about Dia de los Muertos. And before we move into discussing our topic for today, I thought still, just refresher, for those people that are returning, I thank you so much, and I'm honored that you continue to tune in. I just so appreciate you. And if you're new, know that you've come to the right place. We will be discussing grief. I will give my usual talk around loss and grief. So know that you can just hang in there. And I invite you to make this hour about you, to make this hour for you and about you. And you can do that by just dropping a comment or a question into the comment box. And I do invite you, if you have any tips, any knowledge, any information that you would like to share during this program or after about Dia de los Muertos, please put that in the comment box as well. And going back to just discussing grief, knowing that, grief is caused by loss, and loss is any unexpected event that happens, that your life can't go back to the way it was before. And of course, death is that big one. Death is, I call it the big mother of grief. But there are also other losses. Loss of your pet, a loss of your job, a loss of a good friendship. Not that the person died, but just a loss of that friendship. Hopes and dreams. The list for loss is long. And those losses are what puts us into grief. And grief is that feeling of confusion, sadness, loneliness, feeling that you want your world back the way it was before, that you have this yearning for whatever that was. That is a part of grief. So knowing that you're in the right place to really delve in and explore grief. As Bell Hooks says, we can't grieve in isolation. You know, grief is one of those things. Grief needs to be heard. Grief needs to be validated. That's what is needed to allow that superpower of grief to come through, because the superpower of grief is healing. So to allow that to come through, it needs to be expressed, explored, and know that when we fall into grief or allow grief to move through us, it's just what I've said, moving through us. There's that quote, to many people say, oh, time heals all wounds. And that's not true. That's just not true. Time and attention paid to those wounds is what brings about healing. Time and attention. So right now what we're doing is attending to the wound. I'm a registered nurse, so I have that frame of reference of attending to a wound, like doing daily dressing changes, observing it, making sure that infections hasn't set in. That's how bringing a new perspective to grief, allowing it to be spoken about, allowing it to be touched and assessed. I also feel that in our culture, and not just feeling, but knowing that it's a fact, that befriending grief is really needed. Seeing it for what it is, that it can bring such a tremendous change to our lives. People that do grieve and go through grief have said so many times over and over, I am a different person. If that event had not happened, I would not have moved on to this. If that event had not happened, I would not have realized this wonderful quality about myself that was hidden until I went through the grieving process. And know that if you can feel it, you can heal it. Or another way of putting it, if you want to heal it, you have to be able to feel it. So that's what I wanted to talk to you about before we move into our conversation around grief. And also, I did a program, maybe I've done a couple, on collective grief, how we all suffer the same from a traumatic event that affects everyone. It could be a natural disaster. You know, we've had so many mass shootings that is a collective. We just get one grief on top of another grief on top of another grief, or another event that puts us into more grief, collective grief. And with collective grief, the healing that I recommend around that is being in community with others, talking about the event that has happened, that has affected everyone, talking about it, sharing ideas around it, how to make corrective actions to prevent this tragedy or event from happening. So when I bring that up, because when I talk about grieving collectively, this is where I feel Dia de los Muertos comes into play. They've got that. They hit the hammer. No, they hit the nail. No, the hammer hit the nail with Dia de los Muertos for that collective grief aspect that we will talk about. And with that said, I want to also make this clarification. I wanted to say happy Halloween, which is today. Halloween is today. And Feliz Dia de los Muertos, which really starts tomorrow. So Feliz Dia de los Muertos. But what I want to say about those two, even though I've just offered that both in the same breath, Halloween has nothing to do with Dia de los Muertos. Not a thing, nothing. Halloween is Halloween, where you dress up in a scary costume and what is it? A trick for a treat. You do a trick to get a treat. And that's all fun and that's all well. But, costumes are scary and it's supposed to be a spooky night. Ho, ho, ho. But that's Halloween. So tonight is Halloween. So go and do all of your tricks or treats tonight, because tomorrow starts Dia de los Muertos, and it is celebrated 1 and 2 days, and some cultures celebrate a little bit longer, but you can start there tomorrow for Dia de los Muertos. It's the day that the veil is the thinnest. And the idea is that the veil is the thinnest between this world and the other world. And what we're doing is inviting our ancestors, our loved ones, to come and visit with us. But more importantly, come and play with us. Death ends the physical relationship, but the spiritual and the emotional relationship continues. There is no death for that. And that's what we're celebrating right now, that emotional and spiritual aspect, and want to do it with fun and lightness. And I keep saying, can you make your ancestors laugh today? So what we're going to do, I'm going to take a little break. And then I will come back and we will talk about why celebrate Dia de los Muertos. So I'll be right back.
New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Hey, well, welcome back. That was quick. Yes, so as I said when I opened the show today, that I am in Guadalajara, which is Jalisco, Mexico. And I've been living down here for a year, which I can't believe. Time goes by so fast. But I've been here a year. And when I came here last year, I knew nothing about the culture of Mexico. Coming from California, I thought I knew Mexican culture, but I quickly found out I did not. And it's a beautiful, beautiful culture, family-oriented, people very friendly and just helpful. So when I came here last year, it was in October, and that is the first time I really heard Dia de los Muertos outside of just seeing some signs and some sugar skulls around, but got to really just delve into it, jump into the festivities. And in Spanish, it's what festejada. It's a muy festejada time. And I was just blown away by the beauty of this celebration. There are marigold flowers everywhere. Those flowers are just absolutely beautiful. I would walk Just walk into the store. Here, people, what they do is they put the altars outside of their door. Even if they lived in, what do we call those, a row house? It doesn't have to be a detached home. You just put your altar right there on the sidewalk. People are very understanding and walk around your altars. So I got to see these altars, and they were beautiful. They would have a picture of the person. There's an altar there, just showing a couple pictures of some altars. And after experiencing this, I wanted to know more. I really wanted to know more about this holiday that just got everyone's attention. Yes, I guess I can use the word holiday. Yes, this celebration that got everyone's attention. And Dia de los Muertos is really, I'll just reach it just a little tad. Okay, Dia de los Muertos, which is translated to English, the Day of the Dead. And it's a traditional holiday that's celebrated the 1st and the 2nd. As I said, though other cultures or other parts of the country may celebrate longer in their different ways, or in their own pueblos, in their little towns, it may be longer. And as you know, Dia de los Muertos did start right here in Mexico. And the idea is that this has been celebrated for a long time by the indigenous people. A lot of credit has been given to the Aztec tribe for the celebration. It was believed or discovered, I guess you could say, or known that the Aztecs used skulls, that you would see skulls, to represent honoring the dead and the ancestors. And the idea is, like most cultures, we do celebrate some type of a shift between the seasons. Back when cultures lived in rhythm with the seasons, there was some celebration that would mark that change. And that's the feeling around Dia de los Muertos. Not only honoring the dead, but it was harvest time. It was a time of acknowledging that the days are shorter and the nights are getting longer. So it was a way of honoring that. And that happened around this time of the year. And the Aztecs had it right, that death is truly an integral part of life. It is definitely a part of life, and they embrace that by having the celebration, by having the skulls that would represent that honoring of those that have passed. And that's exactly what Dia de los Muertos does. It's an honoring of those that are no longer with us. It's an honoring of their passage. It's an honoring and paying homage to the gifts that their time here brought for us to celebrate now. For being in that place of gratitude for their existence. Knowing that their existence has made my existence a little easier. And in some cases, really a lot easier. So that's one of the reasons that I love the whole idea of celebrating the dead. I don't want to be on a soapbox or putting any cultures down, but just bringing some awareness to how I know in our American culture, we don't talk about death. We don't give it a place to reside. We don't give it an opportunity to come out. I know there's something called All Saints Day in some other cultures, but nothing to this effect, where the celebration goes on for a long time. We were out, Joe, if you show some of the other pictures and altars, I believe that I have up, we'll have to A couple more. But these are this is just typical. This is not even anything out of the ordinary. These are just what you find, but you find them everywhere. We were in a plaza on Saturday in Tlaquepaque, and I just love the whole sugar skull idea. And I had my face painted. Joe, you want to show the picture of me with my Dia de los Muertos face painting? And I just want to talk a little bit about that face painting. I had it done, and the idea with the face painting, I should tell you a little bit about where the face painting came about. Let me just tell you a little bit about, it's referred to as sugar skull makeup, okay? And sugar skull makeup comes from a famous drawing known as La Catarina. And La Catarina is a female skeleton wearing a fancy feathered hat, similar to the one that the wealthy Europeans wore in the 1900s. And it was created really by a political cartoonist, kind of satirical type of gesture. And his name was Jose Guadalupe Posada. And Posado's message was, with this drawing with the hat, and what he wanted to say was that no matter your race, no matter your class or background, we're all going to die someday. Since the creation of this drawing, La Catarina has become one of the most recognizable symbols of Dia de los Muertos. And the women, it's just not uncommon to walk down the street and see people with a full face of makeup. And one woman put it this way, her name is Regina Mearson, and she said, I find the ritual of constructing my Dia de los Muertos altar in makeup, she finds it is to be therapeutic. Although it's sad, but it's a balance between the happy and the sad, and balancing with the La Catarina makeup, she says, gives it more of a celebratory aspect for the holiday. And I wanted to say, and it's not just women. Joe, I think I have a picture of a family with their makeup. Yes, there's a whole family. I mean, the mother, the father, the kids. Yesterday we were out, and even the police get involved. There was a squad of policemen and women, police persons that were in full makeup for Dia de los Muertos, for the sugar skull. And they were even allowing people to take pictures. It was, can I have a picture with you? So it was as if when you get this makeup done, expect to have a photo op. Joe, you want to put mine up again with my sister and I, the two of us together. My sister's here with me. And I just wanted to say that once you have this sugar skull makeup on, expect to have a photo op. We got stopped so many times, like, can I take your picture? But it wasn't just, can I take your picture? It's like, can you take a selfie with me? Can I be in the picture with you? And there's something about that kind of camaraderie, that kind of shared excitement that is really healing and unifying. I mean, to have total strangers stop, and I was guilty of the same thing before I got my face done. I was asking people, the first time I was a little timid. It's like, do you mind if I take your picture? Melanie was like, of course you can take a picture with me. I almost felt like she was saying, what do you think I have all this makeup on, if not to have the picture? taken. So it was just a way we all just felt in this, I want to say this bubble of joy. Joe, if you put my picture up again, I'll just tell a short story to make everybody laugh. No, the one just single, my single. Yes, that one. The idea with the sugar skull makeup is that you really are honoring your ancestor, your loved one. And I'll say that this was more like an honoring the person that I would dedicate this to, of course, is all my ancestors, but especially to my mother. It's like I just felt such joy knowing that this was for her and for me. I told my sister, I said, when I die and you do that montage of photos at funerals, I said, I want you to put this picture up and say that this was the happiest day of Bonnie's life. And I just really love that. And I could just feel my loved ones around supporting and being in joy. And I feel that when you can bring that sense of upliftment and lightness of spirit to grief, I think it truly benefits, because we know that we can hold deep depths of sorrow. We know that we can hold that around grief. But also that we can hold joy and a sense of contentment in that moment around death and those that are on the other side. So I thank you for indulging me with that. There was a couple more pictures, Joe, that I think I sent you. Yes, and this is the plaza. We were in a town called Tlaquepaque, and this was one of the attractions, or one of the altars that was set up, or one of the skeletons that was like at the entryway, and a great photo op with that. And these are just all around. One other thing I wanted to say, yes, and that was another at the entryway to this plaza. One other thing I wanted to make sure that I said about the sugar skull makeup, Joe, is that you would not make it scary or disfiguring in any way, because you're honoring your loved one. Yes, and yes, thank you, Joe. This is just another example of some of the sugar skull makeup. And it's worn with pride, just majestic pride, that you have that lineage, that representation. So I thank you for indulging me with the sugar skull. And I think what we're going to do is, when we come back, we'll take another little break. We will talk about the altars and what's made up on the altar and why you want an altar. Okay, so we'll be back with talk of altars. Ofrendas is the word in Spanish, ofrendas. So we'll talk about that on the other side. Hey there, as I promised, I'm still here. I think Joe showed us a couple pictures of altars, and I'll ask him to do that again, to put up the altars, and we'll just take a look at those beautiful altars that are honoring the dead. And each one is so individual. As you walk, you may see a picture, or sometimes they put the person's most favorite item out on that altar. A couple times I saw a guitar or harmonica, something that was really the person that we're honoring, something that was their favorite thing. That's a beautiful altar there as well. Tonight when we go out, there will be altars that are fully lit. It's just beautiful photo op time. And not only just beautiful physically and looking beautiful, but it allows you, it just evokes something inside of me and the people that are out are just in a beautiful place. So I was going to say, if you want to honor your loved one with an altar, here's some things that you can put on the altar, okay? Flowers, of course flowers, right? Butterflies and skulls, the sugar skulls, are major symbols for Dia de los Muertos. And make sure you put those on the altar. Also, the flowers that are used are the marigolds. If you can see in the picture, they're the bright golden ones. And they are the flower of choice because the bright orange and yellow flowers, the fragrance of those flowers is said to attract the souls to the altar. Also, their bright and cheery color also celebrates instead of that feeling of dread or bitterness about death. And to be added to your altar also are your loved one's favorite food, candy, or fruit. Oh, to hold that picture there, Joe. That bread in the middle is pan de muerto, bread of the dead. That's a really typical bread to have on the altar and a bread to consume at this time of the year. And what you do, with your altar when you have everything there. Oh, and you can put lots of pictures. It doesn't have to be just one person. You can have one altar if you want dedicated to one loved one. Or you can have multiple pictures on the altar, which I noticed was quite common in some of the areas that I went. They had more families than just individual altars for one person. And what goes along with this one, especially if I'm walking in the street like tonight when we're out and people are with their altars, is that people are really telling funny stories about their loved ones, sharing events that have happened. Oh my goodness, music, of course, is really, oh my goodness, an integral part of this. Last year I was in Chapala, Lake Chapala. There's a town, Chapala, and they have a huge, huge town square. And what they had done, that beautiful altar set up with, just tons and tons of flowers and candles. But they had a projector, like right in the middle. It was high up, maybe about 6, 7 feet, maybe 10 feet high above the ground. And what it was a continuous scrolling of pictures and names and dates of people that had transitioned. And that's what I meant by that collective grieving and collective healing aspect of Dia de los Muertos. And if you know of if you celebrate anything along those lines, just drop it in the comment box. I would love to hear what other people are finding and doing. And we will my sister is here with me for just a few days. And our plan is tonight, because tomorrow is Dia de los Muertos, as I said before. We're going to cook together. as a little family unit here, my sister, my husband, and I, and cook. She wants to cook my mom's favorite meal, and also my dad. My dad loved buttermilk, but I thought, I don't think I could drink that. I'll just buy it and put it on the table, put it on the altar. But we plan to celebrate it and to have some joy around what our parents brought to our lives. And that's what I invite you to do, is can you think of some things that really brings joy to your heart when you think about your ancestors, something that makes you laugh? Is there a funny story that comes to mind? I see that we have a comment from my beautiful friend Gina. Hello, Gina. Oh, I'm sorry, Reverend Gina Krupka. Welcome. It's a beautiful practice to honor loved ones in celebration and not in grief. And you know what I say, Gina? I say we have lots of time to be mournful and sad, but let's just take a day to be in joy around that. So thank you, Gina. You brought me joy by being here. So I just invite you to go through and see what it is that you can that can bring joy to your heart tomorrow around your loved one. And I wanted to just share a story about my own experience with Day of the Dead on November 1st. And this was before I even knew anything about Dia de los Muertos or any practices around that. And I just do remember very distinctly, it was the day after Halloween. That's how I remembered and could relate it to that. My father transitioned so long ago, goodness, almost 40 years ago. But this was maybe about 20 years ago that this happened. It was the day after Halloween. And my dad loved smoking a pipe. He was a big pipe smoker. And he loved his pipe. And it was always cherry tobacco. Never forget that, Oh, bring me a bag of cherry tobacco back from the store. So anyway, so he's been dead now for a long time. And I'm driving on the freeway and suddenly my car is filled with a fragrance. But I keep driving because I couldn't figure out what it was. And I drive a little bit more and there's that fragrance. And each time it would get stronger. And finally, the third time that it happened, it was like, oh my goodness, that is cherry tobacco. It's like, oh, that is what Daddy used to smoke in his pipe, was cherry tobacco. And I kept driving, but the smell became so strong that I got alarmed. I thought, there must be something on fire in the back seat of my car. So I pull over, and of course there's nothing on fire, just the smell of cherry tobacco. And then I got back in the car and I thought, oh wow, Daddy, you're here with me today. Oh, how wonderful, how loved I felt in that moment and how in joy I was. I was just enjoying that smell. And then the smell would come and go for like the next half hour. Finally, I pick up a friend and I'm telling her what happened. Can you believe this? And right as I told her that, the smell was even more overpowering. And I said to her, oh my God, Jean, can you smell that? Can you smell that cherry tobacco? And my friend says, no, I don't smell anything. I've got a cold. And that's when I knew in that moment that was my gift from my father. And that was on Dia de los Muertos. And that is the reason for the altar. Oh, Gina she smelled her father's cigar, your grandfather's cigar, Yes, yes, yes. And in the Native American culture, Gina, I believe tobacco is truly sacred. And it's funny that you have the tobacco connection with the cigar, and I have the tobacco connection with the tobacco for the pipe. So I wanted to say, after this happened, I just felt such a connection. And I called my sister to tell her, because my sister and my dad were like that. You know how some parents you think has a favorite? My sister was definitely my dad's favorite, and I'm not even envious of that relationship at all. But I called her to tell her what happened with the cherry tobacco smoke, and she was, oh my God, girl, if that had been me, I would have pulled that car over on the side of the road and took off running and never to return. She found it to be very unsettling, where I found it to be very soothing and loving. So the next day, my sister calls me to say, oh, Bonnie, you'll never guess what happened last night. She said, Tony, her son Tony, she said, Tony was burning some incense as I was going off to sleep. And the incense smelled so beautiful, so soothing, it lured her into a deeper sleep. And she said, but I wanted to make sure I got the name of the incense that he had used so that I could make sure that she bought them. So, she had a beautiful night's sleep. The next day she gets up and she asked her son right away. She said, oh, Tony, what's the name of those incense? I want to make sure I buy them. And he said, oh, what incense? He said, I wasn't burning any incense. So, needless to say, you know what we concluded, that yes, that was my father's spirit visiting her in a way that she would find comforting and appealing and loving, in a way that she would find loving and kind. So that's my experience with the veil being within us. And that's the reason for the altars. The altars are being made so that we call forth or invite the spirit of our loved ones to come forth and be with us. I also, doing my research around this, I heard that November 1st is the night that children that have transitioned can come and be with their loved ones. And so knowing that tomorrow is that first day for children, and the second is for adults. So I would like to invite my little grandson, Oliver, who had a very short life, maybe an hour of life, but brought so much love and joy in that hour and continues to bring that. I would like to invite him to come and commune with his Lola tomorrow. That's my name for my grandchildren, Lola. It's my name that my grandkids use for me. So I would invite that, and then the second, I would invite all of my other ancestors. Come, let's have a big party. So with that said, why don't we just take a break, and then I'll come back, and we'll finish up with the altar. Okay.
New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Wow, thank you so much. I just have so enjoyed sharing my experience here, and hoping that you can add this as something new, a new way to honor and pay homage to your ancestors. I hope you can add that. And what I was going to say is that moving more into, definitely more into our ancestral worship, I feel that that is really evolving more and more in our culture. And I think dovetailing onto this particular celebration, the holiday, is another way of bringing awareness to that. I have my ancestors to thank. I think about my enslaved ancestors, that I am the hope and the dream that they had for the future, for their future, that they envisioned freedom for the generations to come. So I just want to thank my ancestors, who I say I stand tall and proud on their shoulders. And not even, and for me, it's even more recent. I know my grandfather was really one of the pioneers as far as moving for civil rights, for those rights that are more recent, that has been realized in my lifetime. And I want to thank them for that, and know that without them, that the freedoms that I have right now would not be possible. So I invite you today to just make a list. Sounds like Santa, make a list and checking it twice. No, I invite you to just make a list of what you would like to thank your ancestors for. Just think of some of the things that would not be possible if not for them. So just think of some of those things, some things, and just make a list. And if you make an altar, that's great. If you don't make an altar, that's okay, but holding the consciousness of those things that you're in gratitude for. And as I said, on the altar, have this list of things that you're in gratitude for your ancestors. And know that this really is a big ritual, if you think about it. This whole Dia de los Muertos, with the altars, with the colors, with the sugar skulls, with the food, this is all ritual. And ritual has that ability to heal our grief. Ritual puts us back into that sense of control, because that's something, as we're grieving, that we go through, we feel a loss of control, that the world has turned upside down or the rug has been pulled from under us. But no, ritual brings us back to that sense of being in control, a felt sense of being in control of what's going on around us. And also, it brings a connection. It brings that connection with the loved one that you're honoring, and a connection with those that are around you. And so know that on your altar, you want to have, as I said, the flowers, the marigolds, to represent the vitality of life. You can have the pan de muerto if you want. That's good. Always a candle. And in Mexico, you've seen the little paper flags. That's kind of like representing, wind. The wind moves that, and a fire. So having wind and fire on the altar. So I just say, just go and play and have fun with Dia de los Muertos. Here's what I say. Let's make your loved ones laugh on the other side. What can you do that's silly? And what I want to say is, whatever you do on October 30th through the 2nd, just remember to be in joy around the memory of your loved ones. You're welcome to grieve another day. We all need rest from our grief at times. So let's use this occasion for that respite. Let's make our loved ones laugh on the other side today. Enjoy. So thank you for Dia de los Muertos, and such gratitude for that. And I'm going to take a little break and come back and do some plugs for some other beautiful programs. Just a quick break. Thank you. Just a quick second break.
New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Thank you so much for being here today. And I just want to put a special shout out for New Thought Media Network. Please make a donation so that we can continue to just bring you the best of the best in programming. Really, programs that bring about or inspire rich conversation, rich and deep conversation. So that's New Thought Media Network at newthoughtntmedia.org, and I think it's /donate. And I'd also like to put a plug in for Gina's beautiful prayer circle that's going to start here. I believe it's 4 Mountain Time. Reverend Gina Krupka at prayer time today at 4. And remember that New Thought Media Network offers prayer twice a day. 8:50 a.m. Mountain Time and 8:50 p.m. Mountain Time. So come on, get your prayer on. And we also have on Thursday, Zoe DeMoro has his program on Choice, Your Superpower. And I just invite you to just go through and check out the program on New Thought Media. There's Zoe for Choice. And thank you, Joe. So thank you so much. Just want you to go out and have fun today and tomorrow. Celebrate Halloween, knowing that that's a whole different celebration. Go and have fun with that. And then tomorrow is another big celebration. These are celebratory times as our seasons are changing. You know, days are getting shorter, nights are getting longer. So let's just enjoy and be in celebration. So go do something fun. Make your ancestors laugh on the other side. This is Bonnie Gonzalez, your doula for grief. Thank you so much. Ciao.
On behalf of everyone at New Thought Media Network, thank you for being a member of our virtual family. Your financial contributions help share the New Thought message with people from around the world. Please visit and contribute at www.ntmedia.org/donate. New Thought Media Network. Come be you. And please like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, peace and blessings. New Thought Radio, music from all your favorite New Thought artists. From Jamie Lula, Karen Drucker, Gary Lynn Floyd, Ricky Byers, Daniel Nahmod, Eddie Watkins Jr., and many, many more. 24/7 New Thought Radio. Positively inspiring.